All right, students, we are going to be building a kite now, or specifically a tetrahedral kite, right? So for a tetrahedral kite, we're going to need a couple things. One, we're going to be using straws. Two, we're going to use some string or yarn. And three, we need some scissors. So let's get started here on our build. Let's look here at what we need to do. So hopefully you can see that what we are going to do. So the first thing we need is we will use 3 straws. I'm going to pick 3 different colors so we can kind of see what's going on. And we're essentially going to be building a triangle, right? I'm going to use this string here. This is a braided fishing string. It is very strong. It can be difficult to cut because, well, because it's many little different strands. So the first thing I need to do is I need to fish that through my first straw. Now I need to make sure this is long enough that it's going to fit through all 3 segments of straws. Okay, so I'm going to have to, there's my second segment. Hopefully, no, it's difficult to see, but you can see that right now. I have 2 segments here connected, and I'm going to connect my third segment like so. Whoops. All right, so I have my third segment here. Now, I want to tie this together. Whoops. Got to hold on to it. Just pulled one end right through. But I'm going to want to tie that together so that I have a nice strong triangle, not a loose triangle, right? I want to have a nice strong triangle with the vertex right at each one of those corners. Okay, so like so. Not if I put a bunch of slack in it. Oh, this is going to be difficult. If I put a bunch of slack in it, my kite is not going to perform. So I'm going to start here by taking these, and I'm going to start with a simple overhand knot. Okay, so if you're struggling with what an overhand knot would be, right? Let's look here on this. We're going to ultimately be tying a square knot. So we're going to take this loop, right? We're going to set one end over the other. We're going to go through that hole, and there's an overhand knot. Then we're going to come back, and we're going to do the same thing in the opposite direction, tightening that down, making a nice square knot, and pulling that tight. So let's give that a shot here on this overhand going through the triangle, essentially tightening it down. And then we're going to go, so I went over, so now we're going to do the opposite with the other one, going back through that hole, getting everything, keeping everything nice and tight. And we are going to, I'm going to pull that kind of first one tight, and as that one's sitting there tight, I'm going to tighten that second one so that is tight as well, right? You can throw a couple extra overhand knots in there to just keep everything really quite tight. I'm not going to trim any of this, right? I'm going to leave this, all these, when you tie a knot, this is called a tag end, these strings that are hanging off. We're going to leave the tag ends right where they are, and then we're going to go back and we're going to add 2 more segments, right? We're going to add 2 more segments to it, so we're making a diamond shape, okay? So to do that, we're going to need some more string. I'm going to start by fishing it through. It doesn't really matter which end you go on here, right? You could you could pick any one of these, right? But I'm going to fish that through these two ends here. Like so. And again on this side. Right, I got my two ends. Now I'm going to take my two working ends once again, right? I'm going to cross them over, making my first knot, pulling that tight, not so tight that I'm ruining my straws, right? I don't want to like pinch those or put a, you know, put a kink in the straw, right? So I'm pulling that tight, and then I'm going to come back, do the same thing again, going over the opposite direction so that those work in opposition of each other. All right, so, and I'm just going to play it safe here, throw one more extra in there. Just be nice and safe, pulling it tight. And I should have a diamond shape that doesn't have a whole lot of play in it, that these ends are relatively tight and they can be moved together. From there, you are going to need to make 3 of these to start. All right, so this would be 1, right? And then we're going to have 3 more of these to start. And then we're going to start making our shell, our exterior for this to be able to make that shell and have a cut for those with some tissue paper and start assembling our kites.